Bonifacio.
He is our hero.
Hindi ang takbo.
Hindi atakbo. Nandyan na ang bakuna. Magpapaturok ka ba? Subilin na ang pandemya. Magpapaturok ka ba?
Huwag mawalan ng pag-asa.
May pag-asa.
Malapit na ang ginhawa.
May ginhawa.
Mawawala ang pandemya. Mawawala na rin yan. It's gonna be okay na.
Okay na, okay na, okay na. Nandyan na ang bakuna. Magpapaturok ka ba? Subilin na ang pandemya. Magpapaturok ka ba? Nandyan na ang bakuna. Magpapaturok ka ba? Subilin na ang pandemya. Magpapaturok ka ba?
You are watching the multi-awarded Radio Bandido TV on Channel 224 Sky Cable and TV Plus boxes. Simulcast on DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Informing, advising, and entertaining the Filipinos and OFWs around the world. Streaming live on www.facebook.com/DZRJ 8:10 a.m. or on YouTube, channel RJAM News. To all Teleradio Bandido viewers and listeners, you can now watch Teleradio Bandido on our new YouTube channel, RJAM News. Hit the subscribe button and like the video. Don't forget to click the bell icon so you get notified when a new video gets uploaded. Don't miss out on our dynamite lineup. The mystical, the magical, and the occult, made easy by G and Marge Santos on Mystical Buffet, aired every Saturday from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. This program gives insights and guidance in the world of essential spirituality and wisdom of the ages. Its aim is to share extraordinary topics to everyday lives of ordinary people. Walk with them in a mystical, alternative, and less than ordinary path of life. Watch them every Saturday on Teleradio Bandido, Channel 224 Sky Cable, TV Plus boxes, digital free-to-air Channel 29, Facebook.com/DZRJ 8:10 a.m., and YouTube channel RJAM News.
Filipino heroism, ingenuity, marksmanship, tatak sa ludo kami. Isang pagkilala sa galing ng mamamayang Pilipino, hatid ay serbisyo saan man sa mundo. Natatanging kwento ng mga overseas Filipino workers, OFW advocates, legal luminaries, educators, scientists, and inventors. Mga piling Pilipinong patuloy na nag-aangat sa pagtingin at pagkilala ng sambayanan. Tatak, saludo kami! Pinangungunahan ni Johnny Gomez. Tatak, saludo kami! Tuwing araw ng Sabado mula alas 2 hanggang alas 3 ng hapon. Mapapanood at mapapakinggan sa DZRJ 8:10 AM sa Radyo Bandido TV, Sky Cable Channel 224, TV Plus boxes at free-to-air. Simulcast live sa www.facebook.com/DZRJ 8:10 AM at sa YouTube RJ AM News.
Ito ang Frontliners, Damayan, Talakayan at Aksyon. Tuwing linggo, alas 3 ng hapon hanggang alas 4. Kasama si Jude Ika. Live sa DZRJ 8:10 AM Mega Manila, DZRJ Teleradyo Bandido via Sky Cable Channel 224, TV Plus boxes at Digital Radio Free-to-Air Channel 29. Sa Facebook, www.facebook.com DZRJ 8:10 AM. Sa YouTube,
RJAM News.
at Radio Garden app. Frontliners, Damayan, Talakayan at Aksyon!
People will call me and ask me, not some difficult, some are not at all difficult. So, napupuno yung oras mo talaga eh.
Ayun. Alam mo yung ganyang sistema na ikaw ang sumasagot, hindi mo dapat trabaho yan, Doc Iggy. Trabaho yan dapat ng DOH at saka ng FDA. At bigyang aral ang mga tao. Ayun lang nilang yakapin itong ating pinopropose. Kung kaya't ang topic natin ngayong araw, segue hayop sa segue.
Galing.
Ang topic natin ngayong araw, ano yung mga maling ginagawa ng IATF, ng DOH, ng FDA, at paano natin ito makokorek. Kasi, Mari, hindi ba meron tayong plano to end the lockdowns? Di ba? Meron tayong tinatawag na Focused Protection Plus. Kaya andyan ngayon si Doc Iggy to explain that. Pero, tignan muna natin yung mga maling ginagawa. Huwag niyong masasamayin na napupunan namin yung mga mali. Kasi ang tingin talaga namin, mali. kung agree kami sa inyo, hindi na kami nag-show ng ganito.
Francis, lagyan muna natin ng medical na konteksto ito. Doc, di ba may ginagawa kayo yung tinatawag na triage sa hospital?
Oo.
Before you treat somebody. Ano yung triage, Doc?
Well, parang siya yung magdadissect kung saan ka pupunta. Pwede kang sabihin, hindi ka true emergency. Pwedeng pauwiin ka na. Pwede sabihin, doon po kayo sa pediatrics, doon po kayo sa surgery. Ganon ang parang triage. Nagdidirect.
Okay, so meron kayo ginagawang plano for how to treat a person pag nagkasakit. Diba?
Correct. Parang yan, meron tawag dyan sa diagram na ganyan, parang dichotomy ba? Yung parang gano'n, is a guide. Okay,
so eto ngayon, let's take ourselves back to January, February, March of last year. Eto ngayon, ang DOH gets these reports about a Wuhan outbreak, and anong una nilang dapat na ginawa?
Open up their plans. There were already plans back that time preparing for such an event. Matagal na namang pinipredict na nila na magkaka-pandemic eh. So there was a 2019 pandemic plan Meron na.
Sinong gumawa niyan,
All
Doc?
they had to do was use it.
Sino gumawa ng plano
Ano
na
yan?
yan?
Basically, mga WHO with the
Okay.
help of some
Yun ba?
mga
Oh, yeah.
European. Yeah.
That was a
So the plan was
specifically...
basically like this.
Yeah.
Yung
Sige.
plan, ano lang, is basically if you're sick, you're isolated, they manage the resources, kung sinong mga dapat na emergency, sinong hindi dapat emergency. They will manage yung how to diagnose, they will manage how to yung triage ka, they will manage yung human resources. And then they manage per country how the country will react to another country. Kunyari, wala pa sa country nyo, they will tell you what to do and what not to do. Ganun lang kasimple yung plano noon.
Okay.
Hindi lockdown. The word lockdown is rather new to the pandemic plan.
Yun mga kababayan narinig niyo yan. Bago.
If I'm not mistaken, Francis, who din yan, the World Health Organization din ang galing ang lockdown. Mali ba ako, Doc?
That correct.
Hindi.
But
Ano?
when they went to Wuhan in January, they came home with the word lockdown in their mouth. Yun na yun. Yun na yung tinatawag, nag-umpisa na. At they had recommended that countries lockdown.
Pero ang lockdown is the last resort, hindi ba? Yun ang sabi ng World Health Organization.
Later
Lockdown is the last. Later on ngayon.
Later on sinabi na, October or November na yata sinabi na, wait, sandali. We didn't tell you to keep people under lockdown forever. Sabi namin, it's only to, kumbaga, flatten the curve, di ba? Kasi you don't want to overwhelm your hospital resources. And so you lock down muna. Am I right, Doc Iggy?
Right. So it's an urgent response, but syempre just to give you time to adjust, to organize. Yun ang purpose ng lockdown, hindi siya long term.
Paano, Francis, eto na tayo ngayon, 13 months later, naka-lockdown pa rin. We have never come completely out of lockdown. So mukhang
yun ang
the
problema.
plan from day one was walang plan or hindi binuksan yung plano, tapos nung sabi ng WHO nagla-lockdown sila sa China, nag-lockdown na rin tayo rito.
Correct. Yan ang nangyayari talaga. Kaya una resistant ang United States kasi alam mo naman si Donald Trump. Ang paniwala niya, well, negosyo, but he's an independent-minded leader. Just because one said so, para sabi niya, hindi. Sabi rin nila na delay and he should be blamed for the delay. Yun ang sabi ng mga critics noon.
Alam mo, Doc Iggy, yung lockdown na yan, matagal na natin sinasabi, June pa, natandaan ko yan. Sinabi na ni Michael Levitt. Sabi niya, when we look back into all these lockdowns, June yun, all these lockdowns, April yata na May na yata sinabi yun. Pero June ko na post, I was looking back at my post. When we look back at all these lockdowns, we will realize that it is not worth it. It was never worth it. Do you still feel the same way, Doc Iggy?
Now more than ever. If you can just go back to time. Pero siyempre, they say you have the luxury of retrospect. Hindi naman pwede yun. Pero I think the luxury of retrospect already happened. You could have done that June.
Yun na nga, last year.
The retrospect to the retrospect. Kasi parang gano'n nangyari kasi.
Wait, kasi paulit-ulit napansin na nga namin, Mari, nung panahon na yon, di ba nag-show na tayo noon sa Pugad, no? At sinasabi na namin, na halimbawa, ang Japan noon, they never locked down, had very low cases. Sweden never locked down. Until now, di ba Sweden never locked down?
Ngayon meron silang limited lockdown, yung Sweden. They have a little bit, pero very few localities, 2 weeks lang, gano'n. Meron silang mga gano'n.
Kaya nga last resort nga siya, hindi ba? Last resort siya. So,
ito
hindi
si
ko
Doc
alam
Jade,
mo.
Francis.
Si Doc Jade, andyan,
Ay,
Jade, ayusin mo yung camera mo kasi Kalahati lang ng mukha mo ang nakikita namin.
Yun. Yan. Si Doc Jade is a former Undersecretary of the Department of Health. So medyo he
Yeah.
knows whereof he speaks pagdating dito sa ano. Doc, napag-usapan lang natin yung mga plano that ang plano that already existed prior sa Wuhan outbreak, ano? 2019 pa raw, sabi ni Doc Iggy, meron ng plano ang WHO in case a pandemic should break out. And like Doc Iggy mentioned, no, this has already been in the plans for a while now. Alam ng mga doktor natin, ng mga scientifico, that the day would come when a pandemic such as this would happen. So may mga plano na. Ang tanong namin ni Francis is, bakit mukhang hindi sinundan ang plano?
Yun. Bakit nga ba?
Well, ang theory nila was because China exerted its influence to make sure that it follows the what China did exactly. Kaya lang hindi nga siya buong countrywide lockdown na ginawa ng China. It is actually just a Wuhan limited
lang.
lockdown.
Oo. Wuhan lang.
Sa bagay, dapat ang Philippines Luzon lang o kaya Visayas lang. Dapat ganun sanang ginawa natin.
Actually, dapat yung mga pumasok na tao nag-quarantine na kaagad eh. Tingin ko
Binigyan ng hydroxychloroquine na donated na nga ng Novartis.
Yun na nga, nung umpisa pa nga lang nun, meron ng solusyon eh. Hindi ko nga maintindihan bakit nga ayaw. Tapos sa Wuhan nga, yung lockdown, doon nag-umpisa. Okay, ganito. Ang tanong, since si Dr. Jade Del Mundo nang galing sa DOH yan, okay?
By the
Saan
way,
nag-uumpisa yan?
Francis,
Oo.
si Doc Jade is also, he and his family are COVID survivors. Ang ginamit ng gamot sa kanila, hydroxychloroquine.
Yes.
Pero itong gamot, wag mo na lang mag-usapin yung gamot. Sa policy ng DOH, kanino sila nakikinig? Sino ang magfo-formulate? Sino magdidirect lahat ng policy measures?
Sa DOH, usually kasi yan under the WHO.
Ayun.
Kasi kaya meron tayong country representative from the WHO, si Dr. Bea Singhe from Bangladesh. Ngayon.
Yung nag-testify sa Congress.
Siya yung nag-testify sa Congress. And earlier in the pandemic, I remember nung March, April, doon, meron na siyang mga sinasabi. Secretary Duque was already reporting that there was no community transmission yet. Early stages yun. Pero sabi ng World Health Organization representative to the Philippines, sabi niya meron na. And yun yung nangyari sa Green Hills.
Yes.
Nagkaroon na yun na yun yung start ng community transmission.
So mas naunang nalaman ng World Health Representative na mayroon transmission dito bago kay Secretary Duque?
Actually, yun ang appreciation ni Dr. Bea Singhe na meron ng community transmission. Yun na yung community transmission. Pero si Secretary Duque, sabi niya hindi pa daw. Pero siguro sa standards ng WHO, yun na yung start ng community transmission. Kasi merong yung galing sa China, very obvious yun na sila talaga yung nag-start. Pero bakit sa Green Hills meron nag-i-spread na hindi naman sila galing ng China? Diba yung usually yun, mga Muslim vendors doon. Hindi naman sila galing ng China, pero nagkaroon sila ng transmission doon sa Green Hills. And sabi ni Dr. Bea Singhe, yun na yung start ng community transmission. Sabi naman ni Dr. Duque, hindi pa raw. Yun. So later on, they already acceded that it was really a community transmission.
Okay. Kung community transmission, ang sinasabi ni Dr. Iggy Agbayani, nung World Health Organization, nabasa ko yun pinapoint out mo yun dati pa Dr. Iggy na maski na yung person na exposed sa isang COVID positive person, hindi kailangan i-contact trace. Hindi ba? Sinabi yun, I read that clearly. In fact, Ivor Cummings reported that eh. Ang guidelines sa pandemic, sa flu pandemic, sinasabi 2018, hindi mo kailangan i-contact trace yung taong na-expose sa isang COVID positive person. Tama ba yun, Doc Iggy? Let alone, hindi mo kailangan siyang i-quarantine.
I
Excuse me.
think the
Sige. Okay. Sige, go ahead.
Jade.
Yeah.
Seniority.
Sige, opo.
Actually, nung nagkaroon ng avian flu, that was the time na nasa DOH ako noon. That was 2007, 2008. Yun yung avian flu, H1N1. And during that time, meron mga passengers na dumating, and dun sila pumunta sa Muntinlupa. So during that time, na-trace kung sino yung passengers na yon na galing sa I think it was China or Hong Kong, and they were subjected to tests, no, sa RITM. And then yung plane, yung mga passengers doon sa plane, kinontact trace nila. That is really part of SOP sa mga pandemics or potential pandemics. Ngayon, while it was happening, mabuti na lang hindi na-contain kaagad. But dito sa Metro Manila, kasi dito yung international airport, yung pinakamalaking international airport natin nasa Manila, I was already preparing for a pandemic na sinasabi nila. Kasi that is a potential cause of pandemic, yung avian flu H1N1. And as Undersecretary in charge of all the hospitals in Metro Manila, ako yung nag-mobilize ng lahat ng hospitals dito, private and government hospitals, kasi meron tayong mga DOH national hospitals dito. There are about 22 of them. Tapos, meron pang mga private hospitals and meron mga local government hospitals sa Manila, sa Muntinlupa, sa Mandaluyong, ganyan, Caloocan. So, minobilize namin yon. I mean, I personally made a protocol for contact tracing for yung mga admission sa mga hospitals and so on and so forth. Nag-meet pa nga kami noon sa
Doc, so
Medical City.
anong masasabi mo? Medyo armchair ito, pero you've been there, you've done that. Anong masasabi mong mga maling ginawa ng DOH natin ngayon?
Ang nakikita ko, dapat nag-stop na muna yung flights from China. Kasi yun ang unang na-identify It was from China. In fact, Taiwan has a very good surveillance mechanism. Alam na nila yan na pagka merong nag-umpisang potential pandemic or emerging disease na pwede mag-cause ng pandemic, usually comes from China or Hong Kong. So yung Taiwan, nag-prepare na sila beforehand.
Hanggang ngayon
Hindi
nata,
na sila
zero deaths sa Taiwan, di ba?
Oo. Hindi na sila nagpapasok ng mga passengers from China, and yung mga Taiwanese na bumabalik sa Taiwan from China ay kinwarantine nila. Tapos
quarantine ka agad.
Meron silang strict contact
tracing. Matanong ko, Doc Jade. Matanong ko, yung avian flu, no? Ano yung R0 nun? Was it very contagious?
Paki-explain yung
Actually,
R0.
sabi nila very contagious, pero ako, I believe, after reading many papers on that, sabi ko, hindi yata ito contagious as SARS-CoV-1. SARS-CoV-1. Not as contagious as that. Pero
Okay. Mhm.
I was preparing talaga for a very contagious disease.
Okay.
Kasi sabi nga nila initially, it could be very contagious. I was preparing for that as another secretary dito sa Metro Manila.
Okay. Alam natin na ang disease na yan, ang avian flu na yan, ay hindi naman nag-lockdown ng mga bansa, hindi ba?
Oh, hindi. Hindi
Oh,
nag-lockdown.
walang lockdown, walang masks. Ano ba ang
Wala.
paano ba natatransmit yan? By airborne din ba yan o parang SARS-CoV-2 ba yan?
Airborne din.
So walang mask, hindi
Walang
ko malat. Maski na walang mask. O yan take note of that ha.
Oo.
Tapos
Walang mask. Oo.
okay,
Pero
hindi nag-lockdown.
hindi nag-lockdown. Walang nag-lockdown.
Take note of that again. Kasi in the history at in the history of mankind, may mga mas maraming namatay in the past pandemics na hindi naman tayo nag-lockdown eh. Hindi ko ito maintindihan. I cannot fathom the logic behind it. At saka yung sinasabi mong lockdown, sinabi na rin ni Doc Iggy yan, if lockdowns work for one country or one province, it will work for all other provinces. Ngayon, kung sa ibang province nag-work, sa iba hindi, I mean, walang data to prove that lockdowns work. Yun lang yung akin, ha? Oh, di ba? Correct me if I am wrong.
Sige.
Ang basis nila, meron silang ginawang basis for the lockdowns eh. They actually quoted Spanish flu data. And they claim that during the Spanish flu period na yan, they used lockdown techniques because I think yung rational nila, yun lang talaga pwede nilang gawin at that time. And I think one of the claims which is now being questioned, that it worked. Pero now that's being questioned, talaga ba nag-work? Ang taas nga ng cases kung talaga ba nag-work. Bakit yun? So yun ang rational niyan, yun ang background nung why we should use lockdowns for this pandemic because it was used during the Spanish flu. Now, the question is it the same?
Sige, sagutin nyo, Doc Iggy, is it the same?
As the Spanish flu and this one? Kasi remember, syempre, iba yung time nun. There are not as many people, so there's not much crowd. But you had the rate of infection na napakabilis, napakataas. They attributed it to many factors. In fact, one of the factors was that people were not traveling.
Oh, yes.
Pagtaka, no?
Wala pa masyadong travel noon.
Kasi kakatapos ng gera noon, parang yung mga tao, they're poor. They just wanted to stay away from foreign lands. So one of the reasons daw kaya ganun nagkaroon ng pandemic is hindi na-stagnate yung ating resistance kasi there's no mixing. So that gives you an idea that actually to develop strong resistance, you should be parang constantly exposed to new viruses, to develop your
Hindi yun
resistance.
nakalockdown sa bahay.
Oo.
Hindi nakalockdown sa bahay.
Oo. Naalala ko tuloy si Joey Concepcion, binati ko siya nung sinabi yung mga mahirap, kaya matitindi ang dahil nga bilad sila sa kahirapan at marami silang virus, exposed sila kaya antitibay ng katawan, kaya hindi ko makalat sa yung mga squatter areas or depressed areas ang COVID.
Ni Dr. Iggy, yung mga tinuturo sa atin na lagi mag-alcohol, tapos mag-UV light sa bahay, hindi pala tama yun.
Ay, yun ang sabi ng lola ko nga, masyadong malinis ang bata. Hindi pwede.
Ikaw ba itinutukoy?
I think yung ngayon at meron ng virus, then we're advised to do these things kasi nga we're trying to minimize it as the viral load. Pero hindi nga siya dapat parang long-term practice na we become extremely clean and avoid going outdoors, no. But going back to Joey Concepcion, magandang issue yan eh. Joey Concepcion almost got it right, almost. what do I
Bakit?
mean by that?
Oh, yes.
Kasi hindi niya na binanggit na siyempre, sino ba ang mas mahaba yung buhay? Kasi alam niyo, sa totoo lang, sino ba nagkakaroon ng lola 90 years old? Usually, may access sa hospital, may clinic, may doktor na regular. So
Mhm.
they have their relatives reach to 90. Unfortunately, that is not true with our poor brothers na
Mhm.
Filipino. So their life expectancy is a little shorter. But I have
Yeah.
really not seen the data. Kasi parang, ano yun eh, yung data na yan, ang tawag dyan, para bang meron kang discrimination. Tingnan natin kung may difference sa mahihirap sa mayaman. Parang gano'n eh.
Mhm.
Para medyo mahirap yung data na yan eh. Meron ba, Dr. Jade, na ganyan data na differentiating poor and rich?
Meron ako nabasa ang data about that, pero hindi naman conclusive daw. Pero
Yeah.
I really believe that yung immunity is very important. Yung ano kasi, di ba ako personally, nung bata ako, palagi akong nasa labas. Pero bihira yung sakit ko. Kasi initially, when I was 5 years old, that was in 1956.
Ang tagal na pala.
I was one of those who got dengue. H fever ang tawag nila.
At 5 years old,
Fever.
H fever ba dati? Ang dengue ba? H fever?
That
H
also.
fever.
Hemorrhagic
Hemorrhagic fever.
Okay.
So ako yung unang nagkaroon ng H fever sa history ng Philippines.
Wow, pioneer.
Oh,
And then, mabuti na lang,
Pioneer siya.
ang doktor ko noon is my auntie, si Dr. Fe del Mundo.
Uy!
Kamag-anak niyo pala yun.
Lahat. Doktor
Author
na
of,
bayan yan.
Author of book.
Pinsan
Ano yan?
pinsan ko
Pediatric,
yun.
textbook.
Pediatric book natin.
Maganyang
Hall of
kapal.
Fame yan. Hall of
yes.
Fame.
Tapos, she was the medical director of North General Hospital, now the Jose Reyes Memorial Hospital. Tapos na-confine ako doon. Siya nag-alaga sa akin. Another disease that I had was diphtheria. That was a vaccine preventable disease. Pero
Lahat pala ng sakit, kinuha nyo.
Oo.
Kaya siya naging doktor.
Lahat ng sakit. Tapos, pero by God's grace, nabuhay ako. Ngayon, sabi ng mga matatanda, kailangan makipaglaro kayo dyan para ninyo yung mga
Antibodies.
ma-develop yung antibodies niyo sa mga sakit-sakit. So ako,
Correct.
pagka may measles, gusto kong magkaroon ako ng measles. Pero hindi naman ako nagkaroon ng measles. Siguro, nung bata ako, nagkaroon na ako ng measles noon. And then chickenpox, nagkaroon na rin ako, mumps, lahat. So yung mga anak ko, ini-expose ko sila. Ayoko kasi ng ng vaccine na gano'n kasi marami mga hindi magagandang balita tungkol sa vaccines. Pero hindi ako binigyan ng mga vaccines. Kaya yung mga matatanda ngayon, yung mga nag-90 years old, yung father ko is 92, going on 93. Si mami ni Boss Marie is already 98.
93. Turning 94.
93. Going 94. Sila yung hindi nagkaroon ng vaccine.
Correct.
Nung bata sila. Hindi sila nasabi ng father ko, hindi raw siya binakunahan noon.
Ayun.
The only vaccine that we had before was for smallpox, which was developed in RITM. Yung before RITM became RITM, that was part of yung sa history ng Bureau of Medicine. Bureau pa yun wala pang DOH. Gumagawa tayo ng smallpox sa mga Filipino children, mga ITAS, yun ang mga subjects ng smallpox na ginagawa ng mga Spaniards.
Wow.
Trials, Doc? Parang clinical trial?
Hindi. Sila yung parang guinea pigs.
Aray ko.
Oh my God. Bakit ganon?
Nasa
Bakit
history
hindi
yan.
yata magandang pakinggan yan?
may historical ano yan. Hindi natin masyadong alam yan. Pero if you go to RITM, nandun yun sa ano, nandun yun. Meron silang history of what happened to the vaccine production sa Philippines noon.
So kung noon discriminatory tayo against ITAS, ngayon lahat ng Pilipino ginagawa na nating guinea pig ng bakuna.
Yes.
Ngayon, in this time, emergencies, nga. Tingnan mo na, balik tayo. Balik tayo. Balik natin sa ano, ha? Sa COVID.
Doon sa issue, Francis, ng ano, ng parang ang napapansin natin dito is there's a desire to control talaga the environment, no? So kung malinis yung ano, walang makapasok na virus, walang makapasok na bacteria, walang mabubuhay na bacteria, then you'll be fine. Pero ang sinasabi ni Doc Jade is, no, wait a minute. The body needs to be exposed to some bacteria and some diseases so that it can build up its own immune system. So mukhang ang labanan dito is zero risk policy ng DOH versus ano ba tawag mo, Doc? Digi, is it a managed risk?
It's
artificial management of environment.
Artificial management. At tingin ko, boss,
genetically modified.
Okay, genetically modified. Introduce the herd immunity. Yun ang sinasabi mo, Doc, Iggy. Yun ang gustong mangyari. Introduce the herd.
We naturally go into herd immunity. That's a natural thing that happens.
Yun na nga.
It can happen fast and deadly, and you can control it, or you just strategically manage it. This is what we want to focus on how to do it properly.
So
we notice there are certain characteristics.
Such as?
As we observe, people who die from COVID are the elderly and metabolically and cardiometabolically vulnerable.
Ako yun.
So if you know this already, then you can now direct who you will need to protect short term, long term, and who you need to allow to mix up with others. And in a way, you might want to say na, sige, pinapa-infect natin sila. Pero with the knowledge naman na alam natin napakababa ng risk nila eh. Because otherwise, if you have to do it the other route, which is all vaccinate and nothing like this, they actually found out na you will have to vaccinate more people. Imbis na 30% lang ang dapat magkaroon ng immunity, now you need 70-80% to be vaccinated, which is not zero risk then. As we are finding out, it's not zero risk.
Okay, Doc, I want to find out, why do you say pag vinaccinate ang tao, kailangan 70% i-vaccinate mo? However, when you go into natural herd immunity, kailangan 30% lang ang magkaroon ng herd immunity. Bakit gano'n? Bakit mayroon kang... minimum. Bakit meron kang ganong distinction? What's the difference?
Kasi ang logic kasi ng ganito, since it is a natural way of getting the virus, and you got it already, na-expose ka na in a natural environment. So tapos na. Now, yung magiging natural is you now move on to a different location. So that is minimal. Samantala, ang ginagawa dito sa artificial is randomly giving it to people. Yung iba hindi nga kailangan eh. Yung iba hindi kailangan i-vaccinate but you're still vaccinating them. So kumbaga wala siyang focus. The vaccination itself is not focus. Whereas natural immunity develops with the right focus. Kung sino talaga yung madaling mahawa, siya nga yung napuputek agad.
Pero at saka siya yung kailangan. Yes. Okay.
Ito, Francis, yung isa nating na ano, no? What we're doing again here is, I think, proving that, no, I'm putting that wrong. What I'm saying is, yung thinking pa rin ng tao hanggang ngayon, dahil sa pagtuturo ng DOH, is na walang gamot, na death sentence ang COVID. Di ba? Parang ganun na dating. Kaya takot ang tao mahawa. So, bakuna ka agad ang ano. They think the bakuna will protect them. On the other hand, we have people now who are coming to our doctors saying, nabakunahan ako, eto ako ngayon may COVID, what do I do? No? So if the thinking is wala talagang gamot ang COVID, talagang death sentence ito, then of course you'll try to
Ay,
manage
lockdown
everything.
yan. Oo,
Pero
lockdown
meron
yan. Huwag ka
naman
na lumabas.
Oo, pero
Oo.
hindi nga death sentence ang COVID. Di ba?
Ayun
Doc
na
Iggy,
nga.
Doc
No,
Joy,
it's not.
It
No,
means
it's
that
not. It's not.
Yeah.
May tanong ako mga docs. Ako nag-ivermectin ako. So halimbawa ako matanda, may comorbidities ako. Nag-ivermectin ako. Can I still achieve immunity by going out and then getting low doses of the viral
Virus.
load? Parang ganon na nagkakaroon ako ng some sort of immunity. Tama ba yon?
You may
Well,
have that.
yes,
Yes.
you're controlling it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oo.
Kasi parang ano eh, kung wala ka kasing option of ivermectin, di ba?
Mhm.
Wala kang lifesaver, wala kang pang salba.
Correct.
So
Oh,
that is
salba
the
niya. Ay, hindi. I'm sorry. Mali. Wala kang salba.
Mali nga yung
Nananakot
pangalan.
pala yun.
meron ba siyang nasasalba?
Okay. But no one is intentionally doing that.
Mm.
Na maggamot ka, tapos go ahead and
Lalabas ka. Oo.
crowd, get sick. No one is doing that intentionally. So but babalik nga tayo dun sa point na when you say focus protection, talaga bang ililimit natin yung mobility ng elderly and vulnerable? So that comes again to the point of, is it humane to do that? Knowing that, matanda na sila, ganon, and they have a few years left in their life. Now, there's people who on the moral side na sinasabi, but they are endangering their lives. So
Yeah.
therefore, we must protect them and keep them limited. So in a way, parang yan ang quandary natin sa sa ating focus protection. Okay, you're allowing the young people to go out, but you're not telling us that the elderly cannot go out. So may ano dyan may problem din tayo dyan. But I think we're not doing anything mandatory. If my mother really wants to go out and tells me, anak, I have 2 to 3 years left. I want at least 1 year going out, seeing the Philippines, seeing my grandchildren, instead of waiting for the next 3 years na nag-aantay siya ng vaccine or whatsoever, and then she dies before she gets the vaccine.
Mhm. Choice niya yon. Ang sinasabi
So,
niyo, Iggy, choice niya yon. Bilang walang pilitan. Kung ayaw, if she doesn't want to protect
Yes.
her
yes.
body, her responsibility. Her life, her
Pero
responsibility.
hindi ganyan ang buhay natin ngayon, di ba? Kasi naka-mandatory lockdown tayo.
O yun na nga,
Yes,
hindi.
correct.
Ngayon lahat ito hindi pinagplanuhan. Ang point natin ganito. Gusto kong itutok dito sa lugar na ito at binanggit to ni Dr. Ann Quisha eh. Di ba? Sabi ni
Utos-
Dr.
utos ni
Utos
Doc
sa atin eh. Sabi ni Ann Quisha, but wala namang plano. Hindi pinag-isipan yung lockdowns. Parang hindi pinag-isipan yung effects ng lockdowns na mas marami pang problema kung ituloy-tuloy ang lockdowns. Right now, we're in deep quagmire here. Ang ekonomiya natin ay sira-sira, ang daming nadidepress, ang daming siguro sobrang depressed na, ang daming buhay na nasira economically, ang daming hindi makabili ng gamot para sa high blood, hindi makabili ng gamot para sa diabetes, hindi na makapunta sa ospital, wala nang makain. So hindi nakita ng gobyerno o ng IATF ang problema ng lockdowns. Yun. Ano ba ang naging mga problema ng lockdowns? Ano ba nakikita niyo ba, Dr. Jade? Kayo, policy maker kayo dati sa DOH. Anong dapat na ginawa? Hindi ba pinag-aralan ng DOH ito at the IATF?
Actually, nung time na nandun ako, wala pang policy for lockdowns. Yung ano lang namin is contact tracing and basta contact tracing lang at saka testing. No?
Testing
So,
of the symptomatic.
Yes.
Yun, isa pa yun.
Pero nung time na yon, hindi masyadong maraming agent flu. Kahit na yung SARS-CoV-1, which is supposed to be the deadliest SARS coronavirus, no, causing severe acute respiratory syndrome talaga yon. Sabi nila, I mean, dito sa Philippines, na control natin. under the leadership of Dr. Secretary Manuel Dairit. Talagang maganda yung pagkakamanage niya. We were the the best managed health system nung time
At
na
that
yun.
time. Ngayon,
dapat
Doc.
palang
Ngayon, Doc.
head ng IATF, dapat si Dr. David.
Oo nga.
Diba? May experience na eh.
Ngayon, Doc. Anong problema ngayon?
Ang problema ngayon, yun nga, kasi siya, ang ginawa niya, pinatigil niya talaga yung flights from China and Hong Kong to the Philippines.
Kaagad.
Okay.
Agad.
Tapos?
Pero meron makalusot, 3 lang.
Okay. So okay na yun. Anong panahon na yun? Ngayon, Doc, Jade, ano ang problema ngayon?
Ngayon ang problema, talagang dumami yung dahil hindi nga napigilan doon sa pagpasok pa lang.
Okay.
Dapat doon pa lang sa pagpasok, pinigilan na.
So okay, ngayon, hindi nga nagawa yun. Strike minus. Ano dapat ang ginawa ngayon? Ngayong kalat na, ano dapat ang gawin?
Ngayon, ngayon nakalat na, ang dapat gawin ngayon, kung ako, kasi sabi ng mga hospitals na-overwhelmed sila dahil sa dami ng pasyente.
Okay.
So, kailangan mag-lockdown. Yun ang sabi nila. Pero sa palagay ko, dahil meron na tayong gamot na nadiskubre, yung pag-hospitalize ng mga patients, mababawasan yon. And pwede nang
early treatment.
Pwede nang yung early treatment, tapos yung prophylaxis, early treatment, pwede na nating magawa yon.
Natatawa alam mo ba? Natatawa na ako. Doc Jade, kasi pa ulit na tayo dito, hindi nila makuha eh. Doc Jade, nakakalbo.
Kasi nga yung problema sa kanila ay walang gamot. Yan ang sinasabi nila, walang gamot.
Problema
kasi pag sinabi natin may gamot, wala nang EUA. Patayin bakuna, tigiliad. Ang remdesivir.
Pwede ba akong mag-devil's advocate? Yan naman.
Sige.
Hindi bagay eh.
Sige.
Bagay.
Angelic po kasi dating ninyo eh.
Hindi. Actually, I believe yung concept about yung hospital being overwhelmed is actually the thing that seems to justify it.
A lockdown, okay.
The lockdown
Okay yun,
seems to justify it. Kasi ang nipis talaga ng ating hospital capacity. Ang nipis.
Okay.
Tignan mo I was looking at our numbers. Number of cases. Yung number of deaths natin actually, konti naman. Ngayon, i-graph mo yung number of cases natin. Sabihin lang natin, compare natin sa India o kaya sa US. Actually, mababa pa rin tayo.
Correct.
Yes.
Compared sa kanila. Per million, per 100,000, mababa pa rin tayo. Pero puno pa rin yung hospital natin.
Kulang ng ospital. Kulang ng kwarto ang ospital.
Hindi. Tingin ko hindi ganun, Mari.
May partly correct si Mari, partly may kulang pa.
Okay.
Talagang matagal ng problema na kulang ang ating health system. Matagal na.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Dr. Jade Del Mundo. Alam ko part kayo ng mga nakaraan natin. Pero hindi nyo kasalanan, mababa ang budget ng health talaga.
Yes, agreed.
In fact, the United Kingdom blames it in the past few years na binagsak nila ang budget ng health system ng United Kingdom. Kaya raw ang taas ng daming cases nila sa UK ngayon. So, yung mababa sa kanila, mataas na sa atin yun. So you just imagine what we are compared to them. No. So do we have a reason to lock down? Parang yes, pero hindi talaga dapat lockdown. Pero parang napakanipis lang talaga ng ating health system.
Yun. Okay. So
ako management, boss. Ako manager ako, management. Alam mo kung bakit? Hindi naman dapat lahat pumupunta sa ospital eh. Dapat nga tinitreat sa bahay. Tapos minamanage lang kung sino ang pupunta sa ospital. Alam mo kung sino pupunta sa ospital, Mari? Alam mo kung sino? Yung mga ayaw uminom ng ivermectin kaagad-agad. Yung mga nagpapadali hanggang lalala ka, tapos gusto mo nang kailangan mo nang pumunta sa ospital. Ganun. Kasi kung agarin mo, studies show that 85% na mga tao hindi kailangan magpa-hospital. Yung mga dapat ma-hospital, hindi kailangan kung inagad nila. Kung mag-prophylaxis ka, inagad mo, trinit mo sa bahay, outpatient treatment nga eh. Hindi pa rin makuha ng DOH. Hanggang ngayon, gusto nila mag-clinical trial sa loob ng ospital. Ewan ko ba? Ewan ko
sinasabi ko yung iniisip na ng budget na between 70 to 140 billion pesos na dapat igasta sa bakuna. That could become useless because baka na-outdate na yung bakuna, no?
Correct.
Dahil
Isa pa
iba
yun.
na yung virus ngayon. So, imbis na doon igasta yung pera, sabi ko, magpagawa na lang tayo ng ospital all over the country para solusyonan yung sinasabi ni Doc Iggy at magkatrabaho pa ang marami.
Kaya lang, Mari, hindi lang hospital ang problema.
Of
Nurses,
correct.
doctors, hospital staff.
Oh.
Na in fact, I think, ang tingin ko lang compared nga last year, baka mas marami pa tayong nurses last year kaysa this year.
Yeah.
Imagine that,
Nabawasan.
lumiit pa nga tayo.
Bakit lumiit? Bakit lumiit, boss? Bakit lumiit, Doc Iggy?
Nag-abroad sila.
Pera.
Oo.
Pera sa ibang bansa.
Oo.
Sabi ng mga nurses, pupunta ako sa ospital, sisweldohan ako 30,000. Uuwi naman ako sa bahay, magkakasakit yung nanay ko.
Oo.
Punta na ako sa abroad, babayaran ako 150,000.
Wow.
Hindi pa ako uuwi sa bahay na magkakasakit. So the choice is practically dito kasi sa sweldong yan na binibigay ng Pilipinas, you have to live with your parents.
So ginawa dapat nito. Dapat rin ang mga frontliners natin prinotektahan ng tamang proteksyon. Yun na nga, bagsak pa rin tayo dun eh.
Yes,
Bagsak
babalik
pa rin
na naman tayo.
tayo.
Kasi sa kanila walang gamot eh. Walang gamot, walang prophylaxis. Paano na?
Yes. Tama yan, tama.
Now, we are what we call finding yung mga tawag rito, yung Robinson Crusoe solutions eh.
Okay, bakit?
Magdala-dala tayo ng oxygen tank sa bahay. Magdala tayong pulse oximeter sa bahay.
Correct.
Maghanap tayo ng mga teleconference na meron ng kahit sinong doktor. Basta lang.
Hospital at home.
Pwede ba yun, Doc? Masama ba yun, Doc? Masama?
Hindi.
Ayun. So dapat dati pag ginawa yun. On the barangay level pa lang, yung sinasabi namin, on the barangay level pa lang, dapat train na eh. Halimbawa, sa barangay, tinetrace na nila kung sino yung mga may sakit. Pupuntahan na, bibigyan ng mga packs.
Yes, yung packs nila, Doc Sarabia, diba? Doc,
yung mga ganun ba? Kamura lang.
Alam nyo, isa pang mali natin. We're modeling our health system with first world country health system.
Sa US.
Dali-daligahin nung tignan nyo sa India, ang ganda ng ginagawa nila. Napaka-organized. Really just, they know their limitations. Bangladesh, even Bulgaria, even Slovakia, Mexico. I mean, those are not rich countries, but
correct.
They're doing quite well. They're living up to their budget.
Francis, bago tayo mapagalitan ni PhD Dr. Ann,
ano sabi?
Meron tayo, malinaw na there were no concrete plans laid out from the beginning. Although sabi nga ni Doc Iggy, there was a 2019 plan, hindi nila sinundan, they threw it out and went with the lockdown. Next, sabi ni Dr. Ann, no plan of looking for treatment, just dismiss that there is a possibility of any such treatment. And kailan pa tayo, di ba? Kailan pa tayo? July ba? July si Doc Alan. Kailan ba kayo nag-umpisa magtrompeta ng hydroxychloroquine?
Ano pala Hindi, nung hydroxychloroquine, April pa lang yun.
April pa lang, okay. Tapos
April
Novartis,
pa lang, na-interview na natin si Doc
So, ayan, hindi sila naghanap ng treatment. Binasura pa yung mga binibigay na treatment.
Correct. Hindi sila proactive eh. Yun na nga, yung mga doktor na successful, nagtataka nga ako, yung mga doktor na successful, na mavericks,
binibira.
Na mavericks who were thinking about, scientists naman sila kasi, nakikita nila in vitro, it works. Uy, wala akong maibigay sa pasyente, ibigay ko na ito kasi in vitro nga, umuubra yung hydroxychloroquine. At saka si J. Raoul in France was already had the experiments. And then sabi ng ibang doktor, subukan namin. Tapos yung mga sumusubok, binabatikos pa.
Correct.
And they were very successful. Ayan, si Dr. Jade, nabigyan.
Yung experience ko sasabihin ko sa inyo. As early as February, nagbabasa na ako tungkol sa treatment sa COVID kasi sabi ko mukhang
Deadly.
mukhang mabigat itong sakit na ito.
Okay.
So nung February pa lang nagbabasa na ako and I stumbled upon Dr. Roald. Okay? So yung
Right.
hydroxychloroquine niya.
Raul Didier.
Oo,
Didier
tapos nanonood ako nung yung Prosperity kay Dr. Kalimutan ko na yung pangalan, but palagi siyang merong daily output, daily report
Yeah.
sa mga treatments. So, lumabas yung azithromycin. Okay? So, azithromycin, tapos nagbabasa ako doon sa wellness, pinanood ko yung wellness, meron silang zinc, vitamin D3, vitamin C, and
Quercetin.
N-acetylcysteine. Wala yan.
Okay.
Wala yan.
NAC o NAC.
NAC. Okay. So, inano ko na, ginawa ko ng parang protocol ko. So, nung March 15, nag-start na kaming nagkaroon ng symptoms.
Okay.
Ano yun that was the start of the lockdown.
March
Kasi,
15.
Meron kaming, the week before that, meron kaming isang secretary na nagbakasyon sa Baguio. May mga kasama siyang mga kaibigan niya na galing sa China, galing sa Hong Kong, ganyan. Tapos pagdating niya sa clinic, umubo na siya.
Ayun.
So sabi ni Cynthia, yung wife ko, sabi niya, umuwi ka na lang, sabi niya. Tapos huwag ka na muna
Doc,
mag-report
last few minutes na lang tayo.
Yes. So March 15 yun, March 15. Nag-start na ako nagkaroon kami ng symptoms. 3 kami sa bahay.
Okay.
So nag-quarantine kami kasi yun daw ang protocol, so magka-quarantine kami.
So yung gamot
And
ninyo
then,
was?
Yung
gamot, anong ininom nyo? Hydroxychloroquine plus?
Yung gamot, nag-order ako sa Mercury, tapos 15 wala pa daw. Nung 18, na lumalala na yung symptoms namin, nagkaroon ng hydroxychloroquine.
Ayun.
Tinawagan ako nung pharmacist sa Mercury. Doc, meron ng hydroxychloroquine. So meron na akong dosage ng hydroxychloroquine, azithromycin, etc.
Okay.
Yung protocol. Tapos so yung mga site supplements sa namin binili sa Healthy Options.
So ang final ninyo ilang araw yun, Doc, ng hydroxychloroquine plus azithromycin?
18, tapos nung 24 nawala na yung symptoms namin.
Okay, 6 days.
6 days. 6 days. Tama-tama.
So March 18 pa yun, ha? Francis, March 18 hanggang March 24, meron na silang na cure.
Meron na kaming ginawa.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay,
so balikan natin yung kwan. Yung final points ni yung final points ni Doc Ann, PhD Doc Ann. Not including daw other groups as resource of DOH. Ito paboritong topic ito ni Doc Iggy. Bakit ba ang DOH namimili kung kanino sila makikinig? Bakit
cherry picking. Pati doktor cherry pick. Pati yung mga experts cherry pick.
Pati yung studies, kahit 24, 6 lang pipiliin. PSMID, I think, there's something wrong with PSMID. And one of the best clues I found was their website last year and their website this year. Na-capture ko yung website nila last year to this year. You will be shocked with what I found last year. They had leronlimab.
Wow. Oh my God. They ditched it.
They had the mass, of course. Diba?
MATHS.
Nandun lahat. And I downloaded it. They can't remove it now. I think tanggal na nila, but I already downloaded it.
Doc, yung math, just to be clear, yun yung FLCCC na protocol.
And then now I see their CPG. Wala na leronlimab, wala na yung mass.
Oh my gosh.
And then of course, wait. Andun yung ivermectin.
Sa last year,
April, nandun yung ivermectin.
Okay, may nakausap ako taga CPG. Ang insufficient evidence daw ang leronlimab. They threw it out because of insufficient evidence. I was just talking to Dr. from there.
Or that was last year. This year, wala na. They don't even have it there.
Now, what I'm saying is that they dismissed leronlimab maybe last year because sabi na there's not enough evidence. But they did not keep following the evidence. Sabi nga, phase 3 trial sa US.
Yun na nga, hayop sila. Sorry, Mari. Hayop talaga sila. Sorry.
Kasi may bias na nga. That's the problem.
May bias,
Oh.
yes.
Now, this is what I've observed in going to what Ann is mentioning.
Oo.
We are perfecting lockdowns. However,
Ano
no
ba
matter
yan?
how you make something perfect, that is wrong. It will be perfectly wrong.
Perfectly wrong.
Kasi magaling na nga tayo mag-lockdown eh. Ang galing na natin. Magagawa mo na bukas, may curfew, sanay na hindi
Yun na
mga
nga.
kulang pa kami. Wala pa kaming gadget. Kailangan pa namin ng extra gadget para ma-improve namin yung lockdown. So they keep improving the lockdown. We're sunk in a hole. We're not changing strategy.
Okay.
Kumbaga sa basket, pinipilit natin na point guard ang lahat ng player. Imbis na
Grabe
maghanap
sila.
na tayo ng
Yung
sentro.
sinasabi mo, Doc, is the last point of Doc Ann's listahan. And there's one more we have not mentioned. Militaristic approach, generals mostly running the protocol creation. So yun ang sinasabi mo, Doc. Pine-perfect ng mga general yung kanilang sistema because it's a system of imposing disciplinary action. Di ba? Pero hindi po
In a
gamot,
way,
hindi
yes,
solusyon.
yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, final
But
point.
you know,
Sige po.
yeah, people are really good at doing things. However, someone up there who guides everyone must now look at the overall strategy.
Si Duque
Kasi
yun.
these are soldiers eh. They're generals. They're
Oo.
good at doing something. Siyempre, kung mali yung inassign mo sa kanilang gagawin, they'll keep on doing that. So, someone has to be smart
At saka, alam mo,
and lead our country.
nagugulat ako. Hanggang ngayon, hindi pa tayo tinatawagan. Hindi pa tinatawagan yung mga doktor natin. Si Dr. Iggy Bayani, si Dr. J, lahat ng mga doktor natin. Hindi pa tayo tinatawagan ng DOH. Meron na po kaming, we've been trying to reach out to them since last year. Ano ka ba, Mari?
Okay, final words na daw tayo.
O sige, final word. Sorry, Dr. Iggy na lang. Ayoko na magsalita. Napipiko na ako.
Ang final point na hindi pa natin
Well, finally, I think we're getting somewhere.
I hope
It's
so.
not yet there, but we're getting somewhere, and I'm hopeful. Well, if it's not directly to them, at least we're reaching out to more people. And I think that's, to me, quite a success already.
Etong final point ni Dr. PhD Ann is Okta predictions becoming basis of our lives and freedom. Ang prediction is computer simulations na ginagamit ng Okta, na ang UP group na Okta, yan lang naging basehan kung matutuloy ba ang MCQ, ECQ, QQ, whatever it is, kuku. So, anong masasabi niyo dyan, Doc Jade?